morning, everyone. I'd like to call to order at 10:01 the Economic Development Advisory Committee for January 13th, 2026. Once our Deputy Clerk gets here, we'll do the land acknowledgement. So as we gather, we would like to acknowledge on behalf of Council and our community that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the Algonquin people. We would like to thank the Algonquin people and express our respect and support for their rich history, and we are extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of friendship. We also thank the generations of people who have taken care of these lands for thousands of years. Deputy Clerk, we have roll call.
Thank you. Chair Sobolski?
Present.
Councillor Dick? Erica Edmansky? Councillor McWhirter?
Present.
Christina Oulet?
Present.
John Poole? Lisa Vincent?
Present.
Laurie Wickershire? And Chair, we do have quorum.
Thank you very much. Declaration of interests. Seeing none. I see no presentations, but we will move down to the community update. We have with us Reeve Emo. He's going to give us an update for the County of Renfrew.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Most of this stuff is actually fresh off the press in the sense. I'll give you some background before I get to the other document. So the last 18 months, the Warden's Caucus and the County of Renfrew and the other 12 members of the Warden's Caucus, which is Eastern Ontario, which is 1.1 million people, stretching from the Ottawa River over to Prince Edward County and Haliburton. We've been talking about affordability, and so we took affordability as two measures. One is the affordability of small municipalities, and then I took it a step further with some of the other things. So what we know is that the 13 members of the Warden's Caucus have asset management of $388 million, and $260 million of that is bridges, roads, wastewater, water, and stormwater. So those remain, about a third of those are unfunded, and to fund those, it would require an average tax levy increase of 34%. So we dove into everybody's financial returns and made some calls and got more information. What we did find as well is that by 2051, the population of Eastern Ontario is going to go up about 25%, ranging from 15.2% in Prince Edward County through to 38.9% in Lanark County, and Renfrew County is kind of in the middle. We're at about 22 or 23. So those are the kinds of things that we tried to project forward. What we also find is that Eastern Ontario is lagging behind the rest of Ontario, and across Canada, municipalities own and maintain about 60% of the public infrastructure, but receive 10% of the overall tax revenues. And that was a survey completed by FCM, which is the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, which represents all 14,000 municipalities across Canada. So what we also found was that between 2011 and 2021, the financial burden for infrastructure deficit went up by 58%. So it went from $3.7 billion in 2011 to $6 billion in 2021. So we're falling behind on a regular basis. We also took a look at wastewater because and water. We've been talking to a number of people for years about that. And smaller municipalities, which were considered, have a lower ability to manage and maintain these systems. And we took a Peel region at 1.4 million people. So it's about the annual household cost for water and wastewater is $1,389. And we went down and Whitewater region with a population of 5,900. Their household average to maintain water and wastewater was $3,000. So we've taken a pretty solid look at it. Kawartha Lakes was 79,000 people, $1,800 a year. Prince Edward County, 25,000 people, in a very tight area, is 2,400 a year. So we've been suggesting to the government for some time now that they need to do something. And we also then looked at what we've done in terms of trying to mitigate it. So there's been an average increase of taxes, about 4.1% on the general levy over the last 10 years in our municipalities, and 1.7% for infrastructure. And that has, that's been fairly consistent. For us to fund our asset management plans, it would require a 34% tax increase for the next 10 years every year. So with that in mind, what we said was, and if you look on your second page, it says opportunities to build and maintain municipal infrastructure, was to review the alternate models to sustain, manage and build infrastructure, offer equitable and transparent 0% or low interest loans. We find it really frustrating that we as a government are paying money to the province in interest, and fairly healthy interest as well. And you know, it just makes no sense. Increase the targeted investment for growing rural and small urban municipalities, which we expect to be one as 417 gets closer. And allow a share of municipal land transfer tax for all municipalities. The province, I believe, brings in something in the neighborhood of nearly $50 billion a year in land transfer tax. We're trying to get an accurate number on that. So we think that a portion of that, since they really don't maintain too many roads, is that we should be getting a portion of that. Because if we didn't have the systems in the ground and the roadways and water and wastewater and have proper electrical systems, then they wouldn't be able to sell houses and they wouldn't get the land transfer tax. So we wanted to also implement some of the municipal tools to optimize property assessment and streamline grant applications. So all of that together, we were very encouraged when the federal government removed the HST on purchases of new homes up to $1 million. We think that's a really good starter. So what we did was, or I did, was I went back to the caucus last week, and they've agreed to study it more. And I made the following suggestions. Offer a 5-year tax credit for interest paid in mortgage payments for primary residences by a first-time homeowner. Extend the credit to 10 years if the home has a separate rental unit attached to it. And the interest rate should be capped at 4%, so any portion of the rate above that is not refundable beyond the 4%. The second thing was offer a 3-year tax credit for interest paid in mortgage payments by a homeowner under age 35 residing in their primary residence. Extend this credit to 5 years beyond the age 35 if the home has a separate rental unit attached to it. And again, you cap it at 4. And then offer a tax credit equal to 50% of the home transfer tax paid by the purchaser to a residential homeowner 65 years of age or older who sells their primary residence. So what we're trying to do is, first of all, free up, when you look at the third one, is free up some of the residences. We think some of our seniors are overhoused. They're living in 1 and 2 and 3 bedrooms, and there might be 1 or 2 seniors living in it. Or maybe somebody that's even 40 that's living in it, and maybe it should be time for them to move forward. And that frees up some additional housing. With the other 2 measures, what we're hoping is that will stimulate first-time homeowners to purchase homes because they get a tax credit. I don't know about any of you, but when I bought my first home, I just got out of university. My wife and I had 2 car payments. We both had student loans. We had a mortgage payment, so there were times where I had to rush off and borrow money from my mother very quickly to, when the motor went in the car or something. So this would allow that little bit of a cushion with the rebate to, so they could live their lives. Hopefully, too, they'd take the rebate and put it into an RSP for their kids, and then that does 2 things at the same time. So that's the second phase. So the Warden's Caucus staff are going to take a look at it and make some recommendations around it, maybe add to it or take some away from it. So very quickly, what we've done is we've looked at it in terms of, yes, there's a systematic problem for the community, so we're trying to address those with suggestions of affordability. And then the second piece is, what can we do about personal affordability? Because if you look at all the other things, with the exception of the HST rebate, there's been nothing really that's been done for personal affordability. It's all been about, let's pour money into something. And we're worried you're going to see money poured into something, and you're going to see a lot more expensive four-wheel drives driven around by people who may be, in theory, building something, and a lot more condos bought in Fort Lauderdale and not many houses built here. So we're worried about money not staying in the proper hands, which is in the purchaser's hands. And so if you look, there was a possibly asked questions, why set it at 4%? Just because it seems to be not a bad number to aim at, and I think you'll see the interest rates are coming to that. Why age 40? We just keep hearing about the under 40s being unengaged in the community, and they're worried about never affording a home. So we're trying to address that, hoping to engage them and younger people in home ownership, because they in turn will invest in the community. Not so much, money as well, but at the same time, they'll invest their time and their abilities in making it a better community. So why highlight the additional rentals? Again, just trying to stimulate more beds, more places for people to reside, and it meets with some of the other provincial policies. As Eric, I'm sure, can fill you in on building faster homes, and I'm not sure what the other 10 things are, the other 10 names that we've had in legislation over the last 9 months. So why highlight age 65 sales? Again, I feel accessing housing should not always be considered fostering new builds. We look around at, as I said, some of our seniors are overhoused, and in rural and small town Ontario, we need to also try and repopulate those as well. And this measure might assist them in moving on to a more right-sized solution. Why do anything? Most of our membership resides in low-growth areas at this point. The growth in Renfrew County is around assessment growth is about 104, 120, 1.20. Here it's 0.60%. The rest of Eastern Ontario, with the exception of Prince Edward County and some of the areas surrounding Ottawa, is in similar straits. The farther you get away from Highway 7, especially north of Highway 7, the growth rate gets considerably smaller as you move forward. So housing is not always about new builds. You can do new builds and you can do backfill at the same time, and then you can also do the rentals attached to older builds or older homes or new houses. So we're just trying to stimulate the market. And as I said, handouts or stimuluses seem to be growing to the territories of larger developers. We struggle to attract developers into this area because there's not as much return. They're not able to bounce out 500 units quickly, and 20s and 40s and packages of those. They have to really stretch out that development. And again, rent geared to income builds, which are necessary. We're not able to attract developers for that at this point. And with people moving from some of the older stock, there may be some opportunities there, whether to purchase as not-for-profits to turn those into rent geared to income, or Habitat for Humanity or some other non-governmental agencies can step up and do some things. So those are the kinds of things that we are trying to do. We think this will stimulate the future buyers as well, rather than having them seemingly wait rather morbidly for mom and dad or an aunt to pass on, or an uncle, and then give them money, and they're able to make their purchase. So what I said to the Warden's Caucus, and I think they weren't very happy with this, but you can quibble with the numbers or the ages, but the measures bear consideration. So these are the kinds of things that we're trying to do. And if you could take some of this information forward to your other associations, it would be appreciated. I'll come back to you once they get this tidied up a little bit, and ask for your endorsement, and then also ask for, give you a complete package to take out.
Thank you. Reeve, is there questions? Yeah, Councillor McWhirter.
For you, through you, Chair, for you, Reeve. Is this something that's the the provincial government or the federal government's looking at, or is just kind of a wish list for Renfrew County would like to present and see if it be considered?
So everything except the three things that I just brought forward last week to the Warden's Caucus, the percentage and the returns, everything has been talked about with them, and they keep telling us they're going to review the relationship and we're going to be happy with the results. That conversation started in 2010. So they're doing a lot of consideration through a number of different governments.
Thank you. Any other questions? Reeve, at the beginning you mentioned the distribution of tax for different municipalities were on the low end. I think you mentioned around 10%. What would be the median, roughly, do you know, of what's being distributed out there? What more could we be achieving?
So a couple of times we've had different programs. One was the 1 cent, where if we received 1% of, 1 cent off the GST at that time, and the HST, it would generate enough funding. So it needs to, in my estimation, and I'm not an economist, but it needs to move closer to the 20 or 22% of the tax, the taxes that are collected.
Thank you. So a long ways to go.
Yeah, yeah, great.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you. All right, we're going to move down to E2, which is the Downtown Renfrew BIA update, and our member, Lisa Vincent.
Thank you, through you, Chair. Not a ton to update as we're starting the new year. We had a successful 12 days of Christmas and light up the square and Low Square. Our next program launching is on February 26th. It's Show the Love for our members downtown, where anyone patronizing one of the businesses and spending $25 submits their receipt and has a chance to win one of two $50 gift certificates for the BIA area. So that's ongoing until April. We're in the midst right now really of kind of reframing what 2026 is going to look like, and I think it'll be pleasing, but I don't have a lot of details to provide right now. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the update. Any comments? Okay, we'll move over to E.3, which is our Renfrew and Area Chamber of Commerce update from member Christina Ouellette.
Through you, Chair. So we're actually canvassing for new board members at the moment. It's been out on socials. I just let people know if you want to become on our board. Do this before February 13th. You can either call the town here at 613-4848 extension 181. Gail is at the other end, or you can also email info@renfrewareachamber.ca, and our annual general meeting is also coming up in March, and that is about it to report.
Thank you very much. Understanding we're just into the new year, so everyone's just getting into the stride. So thank you for the update. Any questions, comments? Not seeing any. So we're going to move into E4.1, which is the Renfrew Ride Initiative. This is a verbal update presented by me and Councillor McWhirter regarding consultations with cycling, motorcycling communities about the proposed Ride Renfrew. So before I close it, I'll kick it out to Councillor McWhirter for his update.
Yeah, we haven't had our meeting yet, so I've got no update. Hopefully next time we have our meeting, I'll have more information.
Thank you, and my update is very similar. I'm reaching out and just trying to set up an opportunity to sit with the groups, and I would like to potentially even have a group come and sit with us, and we can all hear it firsthand of what the wish list could look like for this. And just to elaborate on it, this was brought up last meeting. It was the first item I proposed of putting a goalpost in the sand. Has anyone else had any thoughts about what this particular item is, or are we okay just to move on for now and let the groups present once we get them? All right, pretty easy. Going to move on to E4.2. This is a new item. It was brought to us by Member Ouellette. Proposed creation of tourism task force, tasked with developing and organizing festival and events to enhance tourism in the town of Renfrew. So, Christina, you want to speak to it, please?
Thank you, and through you, Councillor Sobalski. I have brought the item up to the task force, or to this group, and I'm just going to give a little historical on what I have, me and fellow other business owners and stuff like that have done for the town of Renfrew. I have had my business in Renfrew for 15 years. I have sat happily on the BIA and also on the Chamber of Commerce, and was asked to sit on the ECDEV. Now, way back when, there was actually a tourism board for the town of Renfrew, and myself, a Chamber of Commerce representative, a couple town councillors sat on that, and we were just kind of like a think tank group of ideas. And out of those ideas, and I will say this, I actually said, why don't we have a beer and food truck festival? Well, we do have a beer and food truck festival because of that tourism group. And I would have to say, confidently, it's probably one of the best run events that is happening for the town of Renfrew. And so I would love for us to start with another task force of not necessarily coming up with these huge, big festivals that kind of have a lot of money to it, but try to start somewhere with this group to promote something for the town of Renfrew. I did have a meeting with Mr. Collins about anything, and I threw out Maple Fest just because something, because you got to start somewhere. I think of a lot of people having, there's a lot of maple syrup people, and we could eventually maybe have something with that. I also throw out ideas of having an art festival. We have a lot of artists in the area. We have a beautiful flagship store here in the town of Renfrew, the Art Factory, that would draw all kinds of people. And what I'm asking the town to do is to create this group to work with a lot of different organizations, and I'm going to say the BIA, the Chamber of Commerce, sorry, Hannah, Miss McMillan over here, because she's got a wealth of knowledge, and a couple other people that would love, and passionate people in the town of Renfrew, that would love to see us flourish and grow. So that's what I'm proposing for the town.
Thank you. Comments, questions? I know Mr. Collins does, and I'm just going to start by saying this is the process I want to get to as a goalpost. I want to achieve something. I want this group to work towards something. So if this is another task force now, of all the entities that you mentioned, it'd be great to work with, although Ms. McMillan was mentioned, town of Renfrew too would be a great asset to work with. So we will let Mr. Collins just speak to what's potentially working already and what maybe we could tie this into.
Yeah, thank you, through you, Chair. Excuse me. I think it's a great idea and definitely something that the town could really benefit from. I think probably working with Janine, the events, sorry, I'm not sure exact title, but working with her would probably be really beneficial, and maybe not kind of venturing two separate ways, but kind of just tying in with her, and then just some local community groups and Ms. McMillan as well would probably be really beneficial, opposed to, maybe two separate things trying to achieve the same goal.
Okay, thank you. So if a recommendation is to come from this, and I'm going to have to get some assistance from the deputy clerk, because if we make a recommendation for a group, I would like it to be something that we can have a little bit of terms of reference with and identify the opportunity for residents and different groups to work together on a specific project like this for events and festivals. I also know that we're getting near the end of this particular council term, so either we have to take action quickly to put some verbiage together to at least generate this so that it's in the hot cooker for the next group, or this idea might have to resurface again as we go forward. But I like the idea of it, and maybe if Deputy Clerk could give us a little bit of background on what some options would be to work with Hannah, Hannah and Janine and the team to put a group like this together. What kind of options could we have?
Thank you, through you, Chair Sapolsky. So the Economic Development Advisory Committee does have the option to put a request forward to Council to consider developing a tourism task force as recommended. I would recommend putting through a request with that of what you'd like the mandate to be, whether that be to provide recommendations for festivals and events, or if you were looking to actually develop them yourselves to further define that. And then also to recommend that Renfrew Town Council also directs staff to bring forward a report to them or to Council, as well as a term of reference at that point.
CAO, Mr. Withers.
Yeah, thank you. It's a great idea. I think in terms of the functioning of it, a task force, I think is a bit less formal, provides the opportunity for a bit more dialogue and allows a bit more flexibility in the membership. So you can have members of town staff together with members of the committee to really just generate some ideas. How do we make what we do better? How do we build on, maybe some new events, Maple Fest, different ideas. I think the trend going forward is to try to leverage partnerships with community groups. We hear quite a bit at council the value of different groups in the community and the expertise and the assets that they have in order to actually deliver services. Frankly, in just a more cost-effective way than the town can. So it's probably a good idea, I would suggest, as part of the mandate is to identify groups within the community, whether they're businesses, whether they're community groups, service clubs, different entities within the community that can assist or take the lead on coordinating things. So it's really just planting the seed and then allowing that group to run and maybe providing some resourcing, some financial assistance, what have you. But those kinds of ideas, I think, maybe starting to think about how to, again, rediscover the value and the power of the local, the local community groups that we have, recreation associations, the Rotary, the different arms and legs that we already have in the community that are just there waiting for something and to help. And they've offered many times. So it's great. Thank you.
So at this point, we're not able to direct staff, obviously, from the group, but is this an item that we should have brought back to the next meeting with a space in between, potentially for Christina to put some more accurate expectations and thoughts together for what a mandate could look like from your end, and potentially some assistance from us if you reach out. Therefore, at the next meeting, with review and roundtable conversation, we could have something that we could then present to council, that we could potentially ask council for assistance to direct staff on what our next step would be in this.
Through you, Chair. Yes, absolutely. I can come up with a mandate of expectations and stuff like that for the town.
Thank you, and I wouldn't expect you to do the entirety of it, but at least maybe bullet points to what you're thinking, roundtable discussion at the next meeting, and then maybe we could formalize something that the clerk would be able to potentially hand off to council for discussion. Okay, amazing, thank you. Any other comments?
I do recommend that you put forward a motion to bring forward ideas for the Tourism Task Force mandate.
So at this point, we're looking for a motion to bring the ideas for a tourism task force. So someone would like to move that? Councillor McWhirter? All right. All in favor? All right, thank you. We're going to move into E 4.3, which is a property standards bylaw update. So this will be by me as the chair of the Property Standards Bylaw Working Group to provide a current update and progress, including the integration of clauses related to vacant buildings. So we did have a discussion a few meetings ago about vacant buildings. It was a wholesome discussion. From there, we have started up a property standards bylaw review. I am currently chairing the meeting. We've had one sitting so far. We've managed to go through, actually, Councillor McWhirter sits on it with me. He graciously nominated me for chair. We've had the opportunity to go through the definitions as they stand. We've had the opportunity to get probably a third into the verbiage of what the bylaw is written. I'm anticipating at least 2 to 3 more sittings of us going through review and working on items to at least get this new property standards bylaw to a place that we can present to council and then have that final roundtable discussion. I think would be a fair update. So as this progresses and I have opportunity to share with you, I will. But due to the fact of our mandate, this does exceed what we can do. So at the very most, I can at least just provide an update. But as far as roundtable discussion goes here, we're limited going forward. But as much as I can, I'd like to provide the updates when they come. Yeah. Any questions just to clarify or anything like that? But it's pretty tough. All good? All right. Moving into F. Which is going to be F.1, which is recently completed and upcoming town events. Unfortunately, Janine isn't able to be with us today, but our deputy clerk has volunteered to give us a bit of an update.
Thank you, through Chair Sapolsky. So just 2 quick updates here for events for the town of Renfrew. So there is a Frew Fest, which is the Family Day Winter Carnival coming up. That will run Sunday, February 15th and Monday, February 16th, being held at Mattaway Park. And the other event that is coming up is Renfrew's first ever Great Canadian Kilt Skate, being held on Sunday, February 22nd from 5:30 p.m. to 6:20 p.m. Drop-in for that is free, and again, it is at the MyFM Center on the BEI ice pad.
Thank you very much. Any questions, comments? Yes, Ms. McMillan.
Yeah, I just wanted to add quickly, you may have seen it on social media, the town has officially launched this year sponsorship opportunities for all of our upcoming events and initiatives. So you can find that on our webpage under Recreation and Culture. It'd be a great opportunity for any businesses or organizations who may want to partner with the town. I know Erica partners with us for our Craft Beer and Food Truck Festival. So they're all listed there with prices and kind of the benefits for employers that you will get out of those sponsorship opportunities as well. So please share those amongst your groups, and we'd love to partner with more businesses. You know, those types of sponsorship and partnerships really allow us to grow the festival. Craft Beer is a prime example with Zors and Erica coming on this year. So yes, please share those. And if you see any sponsorship, or if you don't see any sponsorship opportunities on there that you might be interested in partnering with the town on something, we'd love to hear from you anyways. We can always, you know, see if we can make something work that fits more into your mandate and something that might, you know, fit well with us here as well. So yeah, thank you.
Amazing. Yeah, thank you for that. Any comments? Okay, so moving to G, which is upcoming discussion request. As always, the table's open. If there's an item you want to speak to, if there's items that we spoke to in the past and you want to bring back up, reach out to our deputy clerk. let's get them on the agenda. Let's try and find something that we're working towards that's effective and good for the town. That's the new goal I'm trying to get to. So, Councillor McWhirter.
Good, Chair. I'm just wondering if Jacob would have an update on where we are with a motel. I know we sent packages out. There was some interest. Is there still interest, or is that something he could bring back, maybe an update for our next meeting?
Yeah, I can let him speak for himself as he's here, but I don't think he had too much role in this month. But
Yeah, through you, Chair. The original lead that we had they've gone through some staffing changes multiple times, and I'm not getting any response back from them anymore. I've now started just reaching out to pages that I can find that have hotel developers, and just haven't heard back really from anything. I've reached out to 4 or 5 different places with emails, and there's been no follow-up. So still trying, but at this point there's not too much right now.
amazing. Yeah, so again, as a reminder, if something comes to mind, if there's an item that you feel is worth chasing, or at least is worth roundtable conversation, let's talk about it. We're going to move on to a voting item, our committee meeting minutes. That the Economic Development Advisory Committee confirm the minutes of the meeting, of the committee meeting held December 9th, 2025. I have a mover. Councillor McWhirter. Any comments, discussion on it? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Before I just get into upcoming meeting minutes, I'd like to formally welcome, although she sat in a meeting virtually, I think this is your first time here for an in-person meeting, so thank you, Erica, for joining us and filling the spot. It's understanding your background in realty, you're an asset to us here, and thank you for taking the time out of your day to join this group. It's much appreciated. Upcoming meeting of committee. So next regular scheduled meeting for the Economic Development Advisory Committee is scheduled for February 10th, 2026 at 10 a.m. And with nothing else, I'll adjourn the meeting at 10:38.